Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu. Nara
Everyone, very loudly, repeat after me. Jaya Shriman Narayana.
Jaya Shriman Narayana.
Jaya Bhagavan Shri Krishna.
Jaya Bhagavan Shri Krishna.
Jaya Shri Guru.
Jaya Shri Guru.
Sanatana Dharma Jayate.
Sanatana Dharma Jayate.
Dharma Rashtra Jayate.
Dharma Rashtra Jayate.
Surya Vangsha Jayate.
Surya Vangsha Jayate.
Om Hri Om. Namaste everyone. It is absolutely my pleasure to be here with you on this Friday evening, what is Friday evening for us here in Omaha, Nebraska, at our wonderful temple and headquarters of the International Sanatana Dharma Society. And let me tell people what we are doing today. As people know, our live streams usually are on Sunday afternoons. Previous to that, they were Monday evenings, but we're doing a very special live stream today. And the reason why is because we are commencing the International Sanatana Dharma Conference here in Omaha at our temple. This is the 10th conference that we have held annually. The first conference was in 2013, And this being 2023, this is our 10th anniversary of holding these yearly conferences. And as you probably can hear by all the wonderful voices that are here, we have a packed temple full of individuals who are here, who have traveled from all over the world. We have people from multiple nations. Indeed, a few days ago it was wonderful when our Canadian contingent of devotees arrived. I think it was about 4 people, maybe, something like that. And then we had person after person coming from multiple places from throughout the world. Indeed, just today we had one of our wonderful devotees from Germany arrive. Indeed, I myself picked him up at the airport and drove him to his hotel room because everyone else was occupied. We have had devotees here for days, helping us in every way imaginable, with preparing the temple, cleaning everything, doing yard work, doing repairs that had needed to be done for a very long time. And they were so enthusiastic that I think that if I had tried to stop them, I couldn't. It was absolutely wonderful. But indeed, this is our 10th conference, and in addition to all the individuals who are here, we are going to have many people, and to be blunt with you, probably up to 100 people watching through Zoom. So this is going to be our biggest conference ever. And people will be watching from all throughout the globe, from many dozens of nations throughout the globe. Indeed, we will have speakers doing presentations from throughout the globe. So it is going to be a remarkable next 2 days, and tonight is kicking it off. So with that, what we're going to be doing tonight is we're going to be doing a Q&A session. And this Q&A session is going to be both for the individuals who are here. So indeed, anyone who is here who wants to ask any questions, you are free to do so. But we also have a live international audience on YouTube as well. And if anyone would like to ask any questions online, you can please feel free to do so. And I'll probably be going back and forth. And I'm guessing we'll do this for at least an hour, something like that. We do have to end somewhat early tonight because everyone has to get to bed somewhat early, because tomorrow is going to be a full packed day, and then Sunday is going to be a full packed day. And just to let people know, in addition to many presentations and puja and kirtan and yagya and an initiation ceremony and various concerts that will be taking place here at our temple, we're going to end the conference in a perfect way by all of us crowding down into the library area and watching Lord of the Rings. That will be the last thing that we'll do, and I'm thinking that's something that maybe most people are definitely looking forward to, is having a Lord of the Rings party to end everything Sunday night. But with that, again, I will now open things up to questions. If anyone has any questions about Sanatana Dharma, either here or online, please feel free to ask any of your questions. And it will be my distinct pleasure to do my best to answer your questions. I can see questions are streaming in online. Did you raise your hand?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought someone had. All right. I just want to see who to take first. We have many questions online. So give me a moment, please, everyone, as I look at these questions. Very nice. Very good. Here is a question from Jason. It is Namaste Acharyaji. I saw that on your Mantra Meditations album, you have a mantra to the goddess Durga. What benefits are there to chanting her name as Vaishnavas? Indeed, there is a mantra to Durga on the Mantra Meditations album that we have put out. For individuals who may not know, we did indeed put out an album that was beautifully produced by one of my students in Romania, and it's me reciting several mantras, and there is indeed a Durga mantra. So let me answer this actually. Durga is a great devotee of Vishnu. Indeed, one of her names is Vaishno Devi. Vaishno Devi. Indeed, it's interesting. Here in Omaha, I remember showing several of my students around the Hindu temple that is here. and I was the spiritual teacher of that Hindu temple for 2 years previous to our having our own temple here. And there is an altar to Vaishno Devi. Vaishno Devi is a manifestation of Durga, and the reason why she's called Vaishno Devi is because she is indeed a Vaishnava. You see, this is the thing that people forget. People, unfortunately, in the last especially 200 years or so, in modernity, having listened to the incorrect voices of neo-Hindus, of Western atheistic academicians, etc., many individuals think wrongly that all the various paths of Sanatana Dharma, the authentic paths, the Trimarga, the three paths of Vaishnavism, Shaivism, and Shaktism, people think that they're at war with each other. Well, today maybe a little bit they are, but that is not something that's natural to Sanatana Dharma. Indeed, we understand not because, again, of sectarian reasons. We understand because the scriptures tell us that Lord Shiva and Parvati are great devotees of Lord Vishnu. They themselves are Vaishnavas. So that being the case, this is why it is indeed beneficial to also offer our homage to Durga Devi, to, for that matter, Parvati, for that matter, to Vaishno Devi, for that matter, indeed, to Shiva himself. Shiva is the greatest of Vaishnavas. It says this in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and indeed, this is why we respect all the Devas and Devis. So I hope that answers the question. Let me see what other questions there are. There is a question from the audience, just nice and loud, please.
Namaste, Acharyaji. With that in mind about the three paths, I had also heard there are two lesser known and no longer followed, one involving Ganesh and the other Surya.
Ganapatyas, Surya.
Yeah.
Those are the two
Pardon me.
paths.
Could you comment on why they are no longer available and such?
Mm-hmm. Yes, because in actuality there is the Trimarga.
Okay.
There are always other paths, meaning that they're not really official paths in any way. You see, anyone who is a devotee, and then you start a group of devotees to a specific deity. Could you say that's a path? You could, but truthfully, in the Vedic scriptures, it's recognized that there is Trimarga, three paths. And the reason why there are three paths is because, there's a talk that I gave talking about the Trimarga years ago. It's available as a YouTube video, where I speak about how these three paths correspond to what very naturally are three natural human concerns and behaviors and things that people desire religiously. And they correspond to those three things. That's why there really are three paths. So yes, indeed, sometimes people will say, oh no, there's more than three, but what did you say? They don't exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They are not Sanatana. For that matter, sometimes people with, let me quote Prabhupada, a poor fund of knowledge will sometimes try to chastise me and say, but there are the Smartas too. The Smartas are one of the paths. No, the Smartas actually came into being within the last 2,000 years. They're not considered to be, again, an eternal Sanatana path. There are Trimarga, there are three paths, Vaishnava, Shaiva, and Shakta. Smartas are new. If you consider, let's say 1,400 years roughly, if you consider that new, to me that's new. To me 5,000 years is new, actually. Smarta is irrelevant. And indeed, the Surya, that is followers of Surya, the Saurya path, no longer exists, and the Ganapatya path, that is the followers of Ganapati, no longer really exist as a path. Are there devotees of Surya and of Ganapati? Of course. But as systematized paths, no, they don't exist anymore, not really. So indeed, there are Trimarga.
Thank you for clarifying.
My pleasure. Very good. Please.
As an artist, I'm curious as to where artistry falls within the Varna system. I believe artistry is my Swadharma, but I wish to understand how this might relate to my Varna, whichever that might be.
Good question, actually. And I will give you the definitive answer. It falls under two Varnas. actually. It falls under Brahmana and Shudra, interestingly. And I'll go deeply into this because it's not only artistry. There are several careers where that's also the case. So when it comes to artistry, an individual who is the inspired artist. In fact, let's back up a little bit. Let's talk about what I even mean by that. In ancient times, in classical times, in antiquity, in other words, in times that were intelligent and sane, is another way of saying that, it was understood that artists were individuals who were in a way almost like mystics. They were almost like priests. These were individuals, and whatever the art, whether it's poetry, whether it's visual art, painting, sculpture, anything like this. The artist was an individual whose goal it was to serve as a portal to the transcendent. And the transcendent in every sense of that term. It could mean something like, nature spirits, that which is behind nature. It could mean the gods, it could mean God, etc. But it was understood that the artist was meant to be a portal. That is, that truth was revealed to the artist then revealed that truth in the form of beauty. That being the case, the individual who is actually the inspired artist is a Brahmana. Now, that being said, in the production of art, there can be many people who are involved, who are quite skilled, but they do the actual labor very often. Those often are considered to be Shudras. So this has always been the standard when it comes to artists. So again, the individual who is the inspired person, who has the vision. And then that person themselves may produce the art. In any case, that person is a Brahmana. But then any individuals, let's say, who are skilled people, but who he then hires to then do the actual labor, but they're not inspired, they're not experts on art, etc. They just know how to do what they're told. Those are Shudras. Now, interestingly, I said this is not the only profession in which this is the case. Also medicine. When it comes to Ayurveda, when it comes to medicine, you have the Vaidyas. You have the Vaidyas. Those are the individuals who, again, they are the Brahmanas. They are the individuals who are the doctors per se. That is, they have studied Ayurveda. They have studied the texts of Ayurveda, etc. They are the individuals who will prescribe, yes, you come see me, this is what you must do, this is what you must do. Those are Brahmanas. But then, interestingly, individuals who then, let's say, do things to cure people. So, for example, interestingly, people who do surgery, people who do manual labor, like surgery, they're considered Shudras. I cannot tell you how many times it gave me great pleasure to have conversations with surgeons today, very often, yes, I am a cardiac surgeon. And usually it would be an Indian Hindu. Otherwise, why would I be having this conversation with them? And I'll explain, that's nice. In actual classical Vedic culture, surgeons are considered Shudras. And of course, you have to see the look on their face when I tell them that. Their haughtiness disappears very quickly. But that is the standard. So, does that answer your question?
Yes. Thank you, Sri Acharya.
Right. My pleasure. Let me see if maybe first there are some more questions online before I go to any more questions here. Give me one moment. Very good. Here is an interesting question, and it is Namaste. When the Kali Yuga comes to an end, do we still have to fight a holy war for Dharma? And how can we find strength to find this battle when the world is filled with so many evil forces? Very good. Let me answer this somewhat in depth, actually. It's a good question. And let me say, first of all, I'm going to take your words quite literally. You ask, when the Kali Yuga comes to an end. Now, of course, keep in mind that the Vedic scriptures speak with one voice. We know quite literally the day and date when the Kali Yuga ends. We know the day and the date and the time when the Kali Yuga began. So there's no speculation about this. the Kali Yuga lasts for 432,000 years, of which we are approximately 5,200 years into the Kali Yuga. So some people, New Age people, people inspired by more New Age and again Neo-Hindu ideas, sadly think that the Kali Yuga is about to come to an end, either very quickly, very soon, or a few hundred years, or whatever the case may be. These are people who do not have a clue what they're talking about, and zero of what they say is actually based upon the Vedic scriptures. So when you say when the Kali Yuga comes to an end, that end is not going to be for a very, very, very long time. Now, when the Kali Yuga proper does end, the Satya Yuga begins. The Kali Yuga ends with a war. And it is the war of all wars. It is a war the likes of which, as amazing for those who have read the Mahabharata, as amazing as the Mahabharata war was, that was nothing in comparison. You see, with the Mahabharata war, one could say the world came to a battlefield to fight. With the last war that takes place when Kalki comes, Kalki brings the war to the world. And there's a massive difference. But that being the case, once indeed Kalki completes his mission and the new Satya Yuga, the new true golden age begins, war ceases throughout the totality of the golden age, the true golden age, the actual golden age. There is no war in the Satya Yuga. Indeed, the Satya Yuga is the golden age that is beyond almost our imagination. That being said, you've heard me say many, many, many times that, of course, in the coming years, there will be a mini golden age. There will be a small golden age that will last for approximately 10,000 years. Oh, that's something very different. That's a mini golden age within the context of the Kali Yuga. But again, when this Kali Yuga ends, when Kalki comes, and there is that final war of good versus evil, and evil is defeated, and decisively so, for the rest of the next Yuga, there is peace, true peace, and not one war during the Satya Yuga. You asked something else here, and that is, and how can we find strength to fight this battle when the world is filled with so many evil forces? You take shelter. You take shelter and you surrender completely to Sriman Narayana, to God. And you allow yourself to be empowered not just by yourself, not just by your own enthusiasm, not just by your own will, not just by your own power. You allow yourself to be empowered directly by God Himself. You surrender to God in such a way that the first thing, interestingly, that you experience, not the last, first thing that you experience is abhaya, no fear, no fear, no fear. First, you must conquer your fear. Everything starts from there. So indeed, do not fear the evil forces. Understand that the evil forces are indeed a paper tiger. Understand that this is the nature of illusion. The nature of illusion is such that that illusion, if the critters behind the illusion, we'll call them that, if they are smart enough, they can make that illusion last for seemingly a pretty long time, a few generations, even a century or two. But ultimately it's an illusion, and the moment that everyone wakes up, that illusion disappears like the fog disappearing in the morning. So understand this. They have no power. These evil beings, they only have the power of lies. They only have the power of illusion, and the power of illusion is no power at all. We have the power, but that power is given to us by God. So do not fear, fight for good always. Very good. Nice. Maybe I'll take one more question from online, and then we'll see if there are any more questions here. Give me a moment as I read these. Here's a good question, actually. Very good general question. And it is, should we establish temples if we have the opportunity, or is it not important? What is needed to establish a temple? I feel a strong urge to build and care for a temple since childhood. That is a very nice question, actually. This question warms our hearts. This is a wonderful question. And let me start with the end. You say, I feel a strong urge to build a temple and care for a temple since childhood. That being the case, you are truly inspired. You know, it's interesting. It goes back kind of to what I was saying before about the artist who is inspired, who has this vision that comes from within and that comes from above. In the same way, if you have felt this inspiration since you were a child to create and care for a temple, then you probably should, because this is a desire that's coming to you from outside of yourself. So I would encourage you to do so. Now let me look at the other aspects of what you say here. Should we establish temples if we have the opportunity, or is it not important? It was important to our ancestors. It was important to all of our ancestors, so much so that, oh my Lord, how many temples have been built since the first temple up until even now? We cannot even count. Some of them, of course, are in ruins, some of the more ancient ones, and that breaks our heart. Some of them are in ruins. Some of them are neglected, are not taken as seriously anymore, etc. But the truth of the matter is, there are so many temples that are throughout the world. We need to take our ancestors seriously. They are of importance. Plus, it is temples that serve as the homes of the gods and of God upon the earth. You know, not long ago, I spoke to a small group of my students actually about what a temple actually is, and how in actuality, especially a Vedic temple, it is meant to replicate the palace. It is the palace of God. And why is this the case? Well, it is, again, like a portal. It is, one could say, like an embassy of God upon the earth. It is a place that we go to that is a sacred place where we go, we feel the sacred nature of the very environment of this place, and we feel as if we can commune directly with God in that sacred place. The question that I would ask is, can we have too many temples? No, we need the temples. And then what is needed to establish a temple? Inspiration and the money to do so. To be blunt and to be very practical. You need the inspiration, and the inspiration covers all the spiritual aspects. That means inspiration meaning what sort of temple, what should it look like, where should it be, etc. All the intricacies of that temple. And then you need the funding. You need donations, very practically, so that you can build a temple that is as beautiful as can be built, and so that it can be maintained. Remember what I was saying a short time ago. So many of the ancient temples are in ruins now. Well, eventually all things come to ruin. That is the nature of the material world, even temples. But try to make sure that yours lasts for multiple generations after you are no longer here, and that your descendants will be happy to take care of this temple and proud of you as their ancestor that you created it. Very good. With that, maybe let's pause. Are there any other questions here? Please, nice and loud.
Sri Acharyaji, would you please explain to us the importance of cow protection in bringing about true Varna Dharma?
Absolutely. Very good. I have to say, to my memory, no one has ever asked me that question. And yet, it is a very important question, actually. As people know, Vedic culture is a cattle culture. And when we say cattle, no, we don't mean like Texas, and sadly part of Nebraska, we don't mean cattle for steaks, to eat cows. No, Vedic culture is a cattle culture, meaning that indeed we believe in raising cows, having cows. We believe in taking care of cows. We believe in drinking the milk of cows. So again, we are not vegan. Why would we be a cattle culture if we're going to be vegan? You know, individuals who try to say, oh yes, Vedic culture was vegan, don't you know? No, Vedic culture was a cattle culture. They had millions and millions and millions of cows. And the reason why was because from the milk which is the most nutritious thing imaginable. You can make so many different things. You can make, of course, cheeses and yogurt and ghee and butter, and it's just so many different things, cottage cheese, and from those you can make further preparations, delicious dishes, etc. So indeed, the idea of raising cows has been something that's been very important in Vedic culture, but also, as you mentioned, protecting cows. You know, for longer than I've been alive, and I've been alive very long, for longer than I've been alive, people, of course, who know nothing about Sanatana Dharma, they'll go on and on about how, oh yeah, cows are sacred to these people, and of course they have no idea why. They'll make up different things. Oh, these people think the cow is God, and oh, they won't touch the cow, and they'll just kind of make jokes like this, not understanding indeed why the cow is of such importance. And let me go a little bit in depth into this before I actually talk about cow protection itself. In fact, this will pretty much explain it. The cow serves many functions, practical, but also the cow is symbolic of Dharma itself. Why is this the case? This is 2023. Let's face it, most people who want to drone on about cows, pro or con, know nothing about cows. They live in big cities. Most vegans who don't touch the cows, they've never actually touched a cow in their life. People don't know about cows. Let me tell you about cows. Cows are the gentlest creatures in the world. You like your dog, you like your cat, you would be very happy with a pet cow. They are intelligent, they are loving, they are gentle. I have seen, you can look this up on YouTube, you know, there are videos of people playing with their cows, hugging their cows, they'll play music to the cows and the cows will run to them and stand there and just listen. These are the most wonderful beings on earth, but this is the thing that is of importance. This is what the cow has to teach us, and this is the dharmic lesson. The cow takes practically nothing from its environment. What does it take? Grass. Grass. Something that we don't even notice. Oh, we might walk on the grass. Most people today, the only really relation we have with grass is we mow our lawn. You know, so to us, grass is of no importance. Well, that's what the cow eats. Something that to us, we don't even notice. And yet, the cow gives us milk. The cow gives us something that is so wonderful, such a wonderful gift in return. Something, again, that is nutritious. And again, for those vegans out there, it has been proven again and again and again. Please pick up a book, vegans out there. Don't be afraid. Pick up a book. Watch a real video, etc. Learn a little science. If milk is not taken from the cow, once the cow becomes pregnant, of course, the cow starts to produce milk. This is simply the scientific fact. The cows overproduce milk. They naturally do this. This, again, for the vegans out there, get out of New York City and go to an actual dairy farm and ask someone who has dairy cows. Get out of Los Angeles. Go to an actual farm, please, once and for all. Speak to the farmers who raise cows and they will tell you, oh yes, I have to milk my cow. If I don't, the cow begins to suffer and it starts to make suffering sounds. Again, I've seen video of this. This is so easy to discover and yet people want to feign ignorance. So indeed, you know, the cow gives us milk. It gives us something that is wonderful, but it asks for nothing in return. Now, why is this symbolic of Dharma? Because this is how we are to be as well. We are, as individuals, if we are truly spiritual people, if we are individuals who are yogis, if we are individuals who are leaders in our society, we must be the sort of people who, this is just our nature, that we ask for little. We're not greedy. We ask for little, but we give in abundance. Indeed, when you encounter any true sage, any true saint throughout history, this is the one thing that you see, of several things, but this is one of the most striking things that you see, is that they ask for nothing for themselves, or at least very little, but they give, and they give, and they give, and they give. This is how we are meant to be. And indeed, this is how the cow is. This is why the cow is symbolic of Dharma. So no, cows are not our God. We don't think that God is some great cow in the sky. Oh, the silly Hindus. Oh, these silly Hindus think God is a cow in the sky. No. No. For us, the cow is symbolic of Dharma, and we have much to learn from the cow. That being the case, we protect cows. This is actually a very, very important part of traditional and authentic Sanatana Dharma. That is that again, we've always had farmers, dairy farmers. And Vedically speaking, when you have a Vedic dairy farmer, they have their cows, they have their small herd, big herd. They take very good care of them. They treat them very lovingly. If you see cows that are raised by Vaishnava farmers, you will see literally happy cows. Cows who, they don't just kind of walk toward you, they jog toward you and almost dance. As they're coming toward you, they're so happy. And more, when those cows can no longer produce milk, no, they're not slaughtered. Rather, they're retired. That is, there are what are called goshalas. There are these special farms for retired cows where, oh yes, they can't give milk anymore. That means that they're seniors. They're senior citizens. Now we take care of them. And they're taken care of, ideally, until they naturally pass away. So indeed, this is what we are meant to do. We are meant to protect cows, as we are meant to protect women, children, the innocent, etc., etc. Good. Does that answer your question? Very good. Thank you. Let me see, please, if there are any other good questions that are here. Give me just a moment. Renato M. says, Namaste, it is wonderful to watch this live stream today. It is wonderful for us to do this live stream for you. Again, if we could turn the camera around, you would see a temple full of very happy faces right now. So thank you for that wonderful comment. Very good. Here is, let me just see. Good. Here is a good two-part question. Or, I'm sorry, it's three parts actually. I take that back. Here is a three-part question from Titus, and I will try to answer this as thoroughly as I can, but at the same time, trying to keep it somewhat short because we have so many questions. It's truly amazing. And the questions are, beginning with one. Namaste, Acharyaji. Thank you very much for everything that you do. My pleasure. Thank you for being here. Beyond engaging in our everyday sadhana, are there any mantras or pujas that we can do to propitiate a specific Atman of a deceased family member? Let me start with that. Indeed, there are mantras and rituals. We actually have the most important of those, not everything, but what you need is in our book Sanatana Dharma, the Eternal Natural Way. This is called Pitar Puja, and it is indeed doing puja to the ancestors. And we have an ancestor Gayatri mantra as well as other mantras that are there in the book, in Sanatana Dharma, the Eternal Natural Way. So if you have that book, please look for that section. If you don't have it, why don't you? If you don't have that book, please get it. But yes, everything is in there. Now let me see the rest of your questions here. You say, there is a person I wish to assist with spiritual matters in their next life, but I don't know how best to do it. Also, is such a desire acceptable for us to engage in Vaishnavas? This part 2, let me answer this in reverse. It is perfectly acceptable as Vaishnavas to indeed engage in such activity and sentiment. We honor, indeed, let me say, we worship our ancestors. You hear about ancestor worship. Indeed, every ancient culture, previous to Abrahamism, the Abrahamists don't care, but every other ancient culture worships the ancestors. We offer our homage, we offer our respects, we offer puja, prayer, etc. to the ancestors. This is true for, again, every single civilized ancient culture. That being the case, as Vaishnavas also, we respect our ancestors. Indeed, we have several videos out where I speak about this more in depth. As I mentioned in the Sanatana Dharma book, I talk about this as well. So it is acceptable and in fact expected. It is expected as Vaishnavas that we propitiate our ancestors. Now to go to the first part, you say you have a person you wish to assist with spiritual matters in their next life, but you don't know how best to do it. This is what I have told individuals that they can do. That is, that when you indeed do your sadhana, when you meditate on the mantra, Om Namo Narayanaya, in addition to the actual sadhana that you do for yourself, this is something that you can do to help a loved one who has passed on. That is, that, let's say you ordinarily do just one round of the mantra, that is 108 mantras. Well, do one more round and keep that ancestor, that person who has passed away, whether it's someone who just passed away or someone who passed away a long time ago, it doesn't matter. Keep them in your mind. Focus on them specifically as you are saying the mantra. And in this way, you will be spiritually benefiting them. Very good. And let me look at your third question here. Give me a moment to find it. You continue your thought, provided it is the Atman of the person and not their identity in their past life that we are wishing to assist. The truth of the matter is, yes, there is a distinction between the two. Once a person has passed away and they become an ancestor, there is a difference between the previous identity that in English we would call a shade versus their Atman who has gone on and been reincarnated. Despite that fact, you're helping both. So by doing the practices that we mentioned, that is by doing Pitru Puja as well as doing the Om Namo Narayanaya mantra and focusing on that ancestor, you are helping them. You're helping both the trace element of who they were, let's say subtly. You're also helping their Atman wherever they then reincarnated. Very good. So I think we answered those questions. So let me just see again. Are there any questions here in the in-person audience? Anything anyone would like to ask? We're all good for now? All right, very good. Well, that's fine because we have many questions online. So again, any other questions come to you, just raise your hand. Very good. Let me answer this question. This is a very good question, actually, and it is, Namaste Acharyaji, short question, do bad thoughts cause bad karma, or is it only our deeds? Thank you for everything. First of all, my pleasure, and thank you for being here and asking what is actually a good question. And let me say that we have threefold action, threefold modes of action, and that is everything that we think, everything that we say, and everything that we do. Now, this being the case, ethics is involved in all three. That is, we can think unethical thoughts. We can say unethical things. We know that. You can say something to someone, an innocent person, make them feel horrible, and there was no reason for it. And then on the contrary, let's not just focus on bad things. You can say something to someone that they can feel very depressed. You say something and now suddenly they feel wonderful. They feel hope again. So indeed, we can affect people with our words and certainly our actions. This being the case, ethics is involved in all three. Now, let me, on the side, speak about what actually is karma. Karma is not merely a matter of, let's say, some sort of retribution or benefit that we get due to our actions. What karma truly is, and this is how we have to think about it, is that with everything that we are doing in our life with our behavior, generally speaking, and then certainly when it comes to ethics, choosing to harm someone, choosing to help someone, we are constructing our future. We are constructing our future. We all know this. We do this all the time. There's no human being who doesn't even see in their own life the results of their choices. You choose things. You choose to commit a crime, you get caught, you go to jail. You choose to be very charitable and give and give and give. Someone eventually recognizes it, and even though it's not why you were doing it, they give you some award. We choose that, all right, I'm going to be lazy and play what? Video games for 8 hours a day, and I'm going to eat nothing but junk food, etc. I'm going to work absolutely minimally. I'm going to do nothing to benefit my life. What will the result be in 10 years? You've just created your life. The result will be something terrible. You have created your future, and then vice versa. I'm 18 years old, and I've decided I'm going to college, and I'm going to study hard. I'm going to study something that I both enjoy, but that will give me a good career. Video games, what's that? Never heard of it. No, not interested. Drugs, never heard, etc., etc. You go to the gym, you go to college. Where are you going to be now in 10 years? A good place. Good place. So indeed, we know that by our everyday choices, we create our future. Well, this is how karma works as well. So it's not just, sadly, again, the New Age idea. I found $1 on the street. Good karma. No, it's not that straightforward. Karma means that you're creating who you are with your free will, with your choices. That is what karma is. Now, all that being said, now to get to your question, indeed, in all three modes of action, you are creating who you are. So by thinking, let me see how you stated this, by bad thoughts. Okay, yes, by thinking, by saying, by doing, you are creating who you are. So you are indeed creating your karma. Good and bad. So I hope that answers the question. This is why in everything that we do, what we think thoughts that will purify you and inspire you. Think good thoughts. With everything that you say, don't insult people. Don't insult people. Say words that will elevate all those who are around you, and so that everyone who is with you, they will feel good in your company. And in all your actions, do good in every way. Do this, and good karma, you'll have good karma. Indeed, you'll see the results in your very life, because you will have a good life, even in this life. Very good, but good question. Thank you for asking that. Let's see what other questions there are. Very good. Here's a question that I can answer very, very quickly. And the question is, are UAP, you mean UFOs? I don't like the term UAP. That's a deep state term. I don't like the term UAP, you mean UFOs. I like the old-fashioned term. Are UFOs connected to the incoming golden age? Yes, they are. And I'll just leave it at that. Yes, they are. Indeed. The real UFOs. They are indeed connected to the coming golden age. Very good. Again, let me see what other questions there are. So far, wonderful questions. Absolutely wonderful questions in every way. Very nice. Here is another two-parter, and as far as I can see, it's not even a question, it's just a wonderful comment. And this is from Vedic Heartland. And wonderful, wonderful name, actually. Let me just remind people in the audience, especially everyone here in the temple knows this. They're in the Vedic Heartland right now. But for those individuals watching online who may not know, this is the Vedic Heartland. We have something called the Vedic Heartland Initiative, where the idea is that we wish to build a truly wondrous Vedic community here in the Omaha area. And indeed, we are in the process of doing this. More and more individuals are moving here, planning to move here, and our goal is indeed to have a Vedic Heartland here in the state of Nebraska. And indeed, that will become manifest. But I like your name, Vedic Heartland. You say, Namaste Acharyaji. Thank you for giving me the link to join the ISDS conference. I've become very busy providing service to my local temple, but I still draw inspiration from you every day. I hope that is okay. That is, what can I say? It is my humble pleasure to inspire you. in every way. And definitely please continue to do as much service to your local temple as you can. And then you say, please keep me in your thoughts so I can start attending the ISDS programs regularly again, alongside performing my local duties. Thank you. And Sanatana Dharma Jayate. Wonderful. Wonderful comment. And let me say, I've spoken about this in the past. Of course, we, the ISDS, the International Sanatana Dharma Society, we don't have temples everywhere, all over the world. We have one major temple here in Omaha, and we have followers all over the world, in multiple nations. At this point, roughly 70 nations. But we encourage people that indeed, if you are someplace where you're not close to our temple here, but you do have a temple near you, a Vedic temple, doesn't matter if it's an ISKCON temple, Swami Narayana temple, if it's a general Hindu temple, please definitely feel free to attend that temple, associate with Vaishnavas who are there, do service at that temple if you feel so inspired. And if there are beautiful murtis there of Lord Krishna, of Lord Rama, of Sriman Narayana, please go there and serve them with devotion. We encourage you to do so. And in time, hopefully in time, we also will have a temple where you live. It's simply a matter of time. Indeed, the only thing separating us from that is time. So, thank you for your beautiful comment. I truly appreciate it. Very good. Another comment. The golden age sounds amazing. I hope I get to experience it. Very good. Hopefully in your lifetime. I don't know your age, but if you are relatively young, or let's say you're not 95, then I can't guarantee anything if you're 95. But if you're typical normative age, as long as God chooses to keep you on this planet long enough, you will experience it, and it will be amazing. Thank you for that comment. Very good. Another interesting, very nice comment, actually. This person says, I just finished my first attempt at Ekadashi. So thankful for the cow's milk. So very nice. Very good. Here is a good question. I've answered this several times, but I'll answer it again, actually. I'll answer it now, maybe a little bit more in brief. In brief. But the question is from Frogman. I enjoy working out and lifting. How can I do this on an entire vegetarian diet? In the same way that I am. In the same way that I am. I'm someone who I have witnesses. I've taken several of my students with me at different times to the gym, and I'm a weightlifter. I lift weights. I don't do many other things, a little bit of cardio, but for the most part, I focus on lifting weights, and I lift heavy, and I do as many repetitions as I can, and they'll attest that I'm physically stronger than probably the vast majority of my students who are half my age, and they've witnessed it themselves. So I've been a vegetarian since 12. I don't eat meat, I don't eat fish, I don't eat eggs. I have not since the age of 12. I'm no longer 12. I'm considerably older than that, and I lift weights, and I do so consistently and successfully. So it can indeed be done. This is a myth that if you become a vegetarian, what's the myth? Protein, protein, protein. Oh my God, where do you get all your protein? Once you become a vegetarian, you can no longer gain 1 gram of protein after that, miraculously. This is what some people think. No, actually, as a vegetarian, if you're intelligent and you know what to do, you can actually have more protein than a meat eater. Indeed, the amount of protein that I consume every day would scare you. And it's all vegetarian. And that's why I'm able to lift and lift and lift consistently. Very, very, very strenuously and with no problem. Afterwards, when I'm done, I feel like lifting more. So indeed, you can become vegetarian. Just do your research into nutrition, and it can be done. Very good. Here is Varsaga. Varsaga, good to see you. Namaste. And you say, Namaste, thank you for hosting this event. Absolutely our pleasure. Our pleasure. Another question here. Very good. Please, nice and loud. Please.
Acharyaji, is it true that in the Dwapara Yuga that all four Varnas had threads of differing materials? And if so, why is it only now Brahmanas that practice wearing threads and not the other three Varnas?
Very good. Let me give the whole history of this, actually. At one time, there were no Varnas. This is during the Satya Yuga. There actually were no Varnas. There was no distinction between Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. As things proceed and the ages continue to what? Decline, because the truth of the matter is we've been lied to for the last almost 200 years. There is no qualitative evolution, there's qualitative devolution. So as the ages started to decline, eventually it got to the point where indeed the Varna system was established. The Varna system was established in such a way that indeed anyone who studied Veda had to have a thread. That was the idea. The reason why the thread was first given to an individual was it signaled the Upanayana ceremony, signaled that the individual now has the ability to study the Veda. This was an ability that all of the Varnas had at one time. Well, things continued to decline. It gets to the point where, indeed, actually I should back up. Indeed, if you study the Veda, you have a thread. It didn't matter your Varna. So all four Varnas could have threads. Then it got to the point where it became color-coded. Then it got to the point where it was only the Dvijas who had threads. That is, the upper three Varnas. The Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas, Shudras did not. Then it got to the point where, in some cases, you see that that's still the case, even today. But with more decline, it got to the point where really it was only Brahmanas who really wore the thread. And that's pretty much the case today. That it's only Brahmanas who are awarded the thread. Interestingly, we still have that historical trace, let's say, of the Dvija idea that those who are twice born, the top three Varnas, they're recognized as Dvija, but they don't all wear the thread. It tends to be the Brahmanas. Now we're at the lowest echelon, where not only do only the Brahmanas wear the thread, but now, due to the poison of caste, most of these individuals who wear the thread and call themselves Brahmanas are not even qualified and should actually just throw their Brahmana thread away, or better, live like Brahmanas. I cannot tell you, sadly, and this has nothing to do with Indians, it's just the case that this does apply to them. I cannot tell you over the last 50 years how many Indians I have encountered who, of course, will be speaking about something Vedic. They are amazed, maybe 20 years ago, 30 years ago, again, for the last 50 years. They'll speak to me, and they're amazed that I can speak to them about Vedic things, and in a very haughty, very prideful sort of way, they'll tell me, I'm a Brahmin. I was born a Brahmin. My parents are Brahmin. And they'll go on and on like this. And I'll just stand there patiently listening to them. And then I'll ask them, oh, very nice, you're a Brahmana. Nice, so that means you're a vegetarian. And then they shut up. Because they're usually not. And I'll say, oh, very nice, so you do puja at home? And they're continuing to be silent. Now they're kind of slowly skulking away in guilt. So this is the problem. We have too many individuals who are caste Brahmins. And that is meaningless. So this is where we have descended to. So that's the devolution of what has happened with the thread. Now we've reached the worst stage, where we have many individuals who they wear the thread, but they don't follow the lifestyle or the behavior. Does that answer your question? Very good. My pleasure. Very nice. Now let me look at the chat again, see if there are any more questions here. Very good. Here is a truly wonderful question, actually, and I would like to answer this very practical question. This is from Voice in the Wilderness 85. Very good handle, actually. And he or she says, Namaste Sri Acharyaji. I have quit eating red meat, smoking cigarettes, and drinking alcohol. How do I know if I am going too fast or too slow? Very good. Let me give you the beginning of an answer. We've never done this in a live stream, and we've never done this in our temple. Everyone. Very good. That is the beginning of your answer. First of all, congratulations in giving up all of these vices. You know, people know that, sadly, and it makes me sad, it actually doesn't make me proud, it makes me sad that I'm one of the few gurus who actually talks and talks and talks about this. How, are you serious about spiritual life? Oh yes, you must give up vices. Too many other gurus, they're afraid they're going to lose their audience if they tell them the truth, if they actually make demands upon their behavior. That's why they don't say it. That's why Swami, Guru, so-and-so, Ji, Ananda, blah, 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 will drone on and on about Brahman, getting half of it wrong, and he'll never tell you the truth. You want to know God? You want to grow spiritually? Stop drinking alcohol. Stop poisoning your mind-body complex with alcohol, with drugs. Indeed, I go even further, with video games, with pornography, etc., etc., etc. And why? For every reason. I don't even have time to go into how healthy we become on every level of who we are when we give up addictions, and how our mind becomes purified in such a way that now it becomes a proper dwelling for God. So congratulations for giving up all of these things. And you ask, how do I know if I am going too fast or too slow? And that is indeed a very good question, because you know, for example, when it comes to vegetarianism, I've told people very honestly and bluntly that, I became vegetarian at 12, but I purposefully chose to do it in stages, understanding that, I don't even remember how I knew this, I just knew at the age of 12, I understood that if I gave up eating meat in stages, once I became vegetarian, I would be for the rest of my life. So that's what I did with vegetarianism. The other problems I never had. I didn't have problems with any of the other things whatsoever. But when it comes to how do you know if you're going too fast, too slow, indeed, it is important to try to go through stages. You do want to rid yourself of poisons as quickly as you can, while at the same time making sure that once you give it up, you're not going to go back. If it gets to the point where it's difficult, it's a challenge, that's all right. But if it gets to the point where indeed you're going so quickly in, let's say, giving up vice after vice after vice, to the point where you're debilitated for some time, like literally, we know this with drug addicts, for example. Oh my Lord, if they try to stop heroin or meth, they're debilitated for some time. Well, then try to go somewhat slow, because you have to go to work, you have to have a life, you have to do these things. So you have to judge yourself. So this is why we don't tell people that you necessarily have to give these things up cold turkey. Some are easier to give up cold turkey, like I've talked about video games and pornography. Oh, give those up immediately. They're silly, they're for children. How old are people? Are you a 25-year-old man? Are you a man to begin with? And yet, you're playing video games like a child. Give that up immediately if you want to have a life. Indeed, if you want to have a female attracted to you, trust me, every single woman I've ever spoken to in my life, the little oddball who's attracted to the gamer, no, that doesn't exist. That's 1 out of 10,000 women. All the women I've spoken to in my life have told me that if they're interested in a guy, if they know that the guy is a serious gamer, that brings them down about 10 notches in the eyes of the woman. If you want to be a man, give up video games and pornography immediately. The other things, again, you need to be your best judge. If it's a challenge, that's fine. If it's to the point where you feel like, you're seriously addicted to drugs, to the point where to give them up cold turkey, you feel like you almost have to be hospitalized. Oh, be careful. Be careful, you know. That alone shows you the seriousness of addictions. The fact that sometimes, oh, you will become ill if you give them up too quick. So you need to be the judge, but this is the important thing. Give them up. Give up all vices immediately. And don't just give them up. See, this is the thing. People will often focus only on the via negativa. Oh, stop this bad thing, stop this bad thing. Also replace it with something sweet, something blissful, something that gives your life meaning. Substitute that meaning that you thought, mistakenly so, that the alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, pornography, etc., video games, that the meaning that you thought these things were giving you were illusory. Give that up. And instead, adopt that which has true meaning. And what is that? That which will give your life joy. True joy, lasting joy, meaningful joy. Surrender to the spiritual. Surrender to the spiritual. Start meditating. If you're finding it a challenge to give up any of these vices, meditate for an hour a day instead. Give yourself into meditation. Throw yourself into reading the Vedic scriptures. Read Sanatana Dharma, the eternal natural way, living Dharma, all of our books. They will inspire you. And do spiritual practice as much as you can, and that will replace that illusion. So, again, voice in the wilderness, congratulations to you for giving up these things. Keep going, keep going, keep going in every way. Very good. Any questions here? Anything else from anyone? Ramananda, 50 times an hour you ask me questions. Now that we're live. Now that we're live, you don't have a question? All right. All right, if one comes to you. Anyone else? Any questions here? All right, well, we'll give you more time to think about it. Let's go back to, because we do have, it's not like we have a dearth of questions. We have many, many questions here, actually. Oh, in fact, it just shifted. Give me 1 second. Let's see. Here's an interesting question. I will answer this. It is from Dominus Draconum Invictus. And it is, Namaste Acharyaji. I have a guru, but I don't agree with him always. Is that okay, or should I search for another guru? Very good. That's a good question, actually, and I will definitely answer that. Give me one moment. Here we go. I lost the question for a second. I want to make sure I still have it up. That is a good question, and to truly answer this question, we need to back up a little bit. First of all, when it comes to a guru, it's not a matter of a guru, it's a matter of the guru, Sri Guru, Guru Tattva, the guru principle. In other words, in having a guru, it must be a true guru. It must be an individual who himself is indeed a portal, a window to the divine. This being the case, it's not a matter merely of do we agree or disagree with such a being. If the guru is such a being, if the guru is a transparent via medium, that is, again, a clear window through which we can see the divine, that being the case, it's not a matter of agreeing or disagreeing. The guru is a via medium for truth. That being the case, if you find that the guru that you have is someone who is saying things that, oh, you may agree with, not agree with, then there are several problem scenarios that might be here. Either A, the guru is not that transparent via medium, in other words, he's not a real guru, and you are detecting that, or this individual is saying different things out of different sides of his mouth, which again does not make him a true guru, or the person is a true guru, but you have not yet developed the proper level of understanding such that you can fully understand what he is saying. Because again, the guru is not someone who gives opinion, ideally speaking. The guru is someone who conveys truth, 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 and you know that it is the truth because of everything, not just quite literally the words that are coming out of their mouth. Oh, that makes sense. No, that can be the case for the ice cream vendor coming by in the truck. Anyone can make sense once in a while. Rather, the true guru is an individual who doesn't simply say, he lives the truth. And more, when you're in his presence, you feel that truth as empowerment. Now, this being the case, if that is the nature of this individual, then have more patience. If that is not the nature of this individual, then you have to find someone who is indeed a true guru. Someone who, when you are in their presence, there is nothing but truth. And not 99% of the time, oh, he's right. Oh, but he gets it wrong on this one point. No. It is 100%. Find such an individual, and you will have your portal to the divine. So I hope that answers that question. Give me a few moments. And let me just say, I am not going to be answering questions about either politics or political individuals whatsoever. I don't answer such questions because someone has a Hindu sounding name and they're a politician is meaningless. Absolutely meaningless. So I'm not going to be answering questions about politicians and what I think about politicians. So with that, let's go on to a few more questions that are here. Very nice. Very good. Here's a very nice comment. And it is, again, from Voice in the Wilderness, 85. Thank you for the response. I am pursuing the vegetarian diet as my end goal. My life has improved since I started watching your videos. Wonderful. Thank you so much for telling us that. And indeed, again, you know, we wish to rid ourselves of vices for every reason, certainly for spiritual reasons, but also for the practical reasons. Your life will be better in every way. Your health will be better. Your mind and your intellect will be clearer, will work better. People around you will like you more when you give up vices, etc. So that is wonderful. And indeed, as far as vegetarianism, take your time with it. Don't take 29 years, but at the same time, you know, take a reasonable amount of time. Cut out things little by little. Indeed, cut out red meats, then all meats, then fish, then eggs, etc., and come to the point where you are indeed what is called the Vedic diet, and that is lacto-vegetarian. Again, dairy products are fine. We can consume all the dairy products we want, and we don't care about the vegans. It's a silly recent fad. Eat all the dairy products that you want, but cut out meat, fish, and eggs, and you will be very, very healthy and very happy, and you will grow spiritually. Give me a moment as I look at the rest of these questions. Actually, one moment, we do have a question here.
One finally came up.
Nice and loud, please.
So, in Vaikuntha, and does there have to be any specific place in Vaikuntha? When an Atman is offering something to the Ishtadevata, is that object like another Atman, or is it a part of themselves somehow?
Good question. That is a very detailed, very technical question, actually. First of all, let me say this, speaking of technically speaking, once one is in Vaikuntha, there at that point is no Ishtadevata per se anymore. That's a sadhana term. And you understand the difference between the two. When it comes to let's say, sadhana bhakti versus shuddha bhakti. That is, bhakti as practice versus then pure devotion. There's a difference between the two. In sadhana bhakti, we have the Ishta Devata, that Devata who is our focus of practiced awareness and worship. But then when it comes to the point of liberation, we find ourselves in Vaikuntha, sadhana is gone. And now we are in relationship. That's the difference. You don't speak of Ishta Devata in relationship. So all that being the case, anything that exists in Vaikuntha is of the nature of consciousness, and it is its own consciousness. What you are offering is your bhakti. So that other being is infused with your bhakti in your offering to God. But it's the bhakti that is being transferred. That being also has its bhakti. Indeed, it's I can actually talk about this for hours because it's fascinating. The interplay of bhakti between the various beings in Vaikuntha. So indeed, that object, let's say, that you are offering is itself an Atman, is itself of the nature of consciousness. There is no such thing. There are only two things. Sankhya. This is what Sankhya is based upon. There is Purusha and Prakriti. There is consciousness, there is matter. In Vaikuntha, you have left matter behind. There is only consciousness. Thus, everything is consciousness. You're offering a flower. That flower that you're offering is an Atman and is thus of the nature of consciousness. In fact, that's a perfect example. Let's use this and go with this. Now, as you are offering that flower at the feet of not a Murti, but Rama himself, and he's smiling at you in Vaikuntha, you are an Atman. You are a unit of consciousness. That flower is a unit of consciousness. You are cooperating in bhakti with the flower. The flower in bhakti wishes to be offered. You in bhakti wish to offer the flower. So it's almost like a cooperation between the two of you, and thus you and the flower also have your own loving relationship. That's how it operates. Please.
If I may ask a follow-up question to that. In such a Leela in Vaikuntha between Atman and Sriman Narayan, does the Atman ever change in form in the relationship to Rama? In a way, in their how should I word it? In their efforts to please Rama.
Good, another good question. If and only if it is the desire of Rama. If and only if it is the desire of God. But there is a base form. There is a Svarupa. If there were not, then we wouldn't even have that term for the form. Svarupa, one's own form. So the Atman itself has a specific form, has a specific function, has a specific way in which it relates to God. That being the case, there is that base form, but can the Atman choose to change that form if it must do so in service to God? Of course. But there is always that base form. Yeah. So indeed, if it is God's will, then that Atman can serve God in any way that God desires. Good. Very good. All right. Any other questions here? Very good. We have a few more questions, and actually we're going to be ending very soon. Yes, it's been almost an hour and a half, so we will be ending soon, but let me see if I can answer one or two more questions. Very good. Here's a question I've answered several times, but I'll answer it again. Namaste Acharyaji, pranams, and likewise pranams. I wonder, how are the Vedic scriptures, other Purana texts, etc., how are they preserved for thousands of years? No written record was possible 5,000 years ago. Please enlighten. I'll give you the very simple answer, because your ancestors were infinitely more intelligent than you. And they had infinitely better memory. The Vedic scriptures were carried down first how they should have been the proper way. The proper way that you convey literature is orally. That's actually the proper way. Writing down is for people who have lost their memory. Writing down, sadly, is a tremendous step down for people in the Kali Yuga. The way that scriptures were carried down was from teacher to disciple, teacher to disciple, teacher to disciple, and it was done orally. Eventually, it gets to the point where people's memories in the Kali Yuga simply are not very good anymore. So it comes to the point where they have to write it down. But we know that this is the case, again, this oral tradition, not just with the Vedas. This was true for all the ancient peoples. Indeed, this is something that many people are not aware of, and that is that all of the ancient peoples had their own Vedas. They had their own scriptures that were carried down orally from generation to generation. Many were lost. Indeed, because it got to the point where people's memory got so bad and they didn't write them down in time, and the last generation of priests who had them memorized either pass away, or they're somehow killed, or they are converted to an Abrahamic faith, and they're lost. There are many examples that can be given. The one that I love to give are the Druids, the Celtic people. They had their own Vedas. Again, this is just known by scholars. You can look this up yourself. They had their own scriptures that, like the Vedas, consisted of poetry and history and mantras and so much that was there. They had volumes, but they were carried down orally. That is, you had Druids, you had priests who would memorize a book. Another priest would memorize another one, and they would teach it to their students, and for years that student would memorize it. Then they would be a living book, a living walking book. They would pass it to future generations, and it went on like this. Sadly, of course, we know the Celtic people were eventually converted to Christianity, and sadly the Druids, who were the Brahmanas of the Celtic people, were among the first to convert, actually. Many of them became priests, Catholic priests, I should say. And once that happened, those books were gone. Those books were gone. So we do not have anything in writing from the Druids, and not just the Druids, so many different peoples throughout the world. How fortunate are we? How fortunate are we? Such is the nature of God's grace, that in the Vedic tradition, indeed, why is it even called the Vedic tradition? We have the Vedas. Our scriptures were eventually written down to the point where we have it all. We have everything. Everything. We have so many scriptures that, trust me, because I've done this, I have read them all. If you were to try to read them all, it would take you years and years and actually decades to read all the Vedic scriptures. That's how many we have. How fortunate are we? So this is why I always encourage individuals from our sister religions, and I'm going to end with this question because we're at the hour-and-a-half time mark, so sadly this will be the last question that I'm going to answer. But I want to end by saying this. For those individuals who are in our sister religions, and you know I've spoken about this in the past, when it comes to those individuals who, for example, follow pre-Christian European religion, or who follow, let's say, ancient Egyptian religion, or any of these sister religions that are sister religions of Sanatana Dharma, but in which, again, you've lost most, if not all, of your literature. You're trying bravely to reconstruct, courageously to reconstruct these religions, but you know that if you're lucky, you maybe retain 5% of the knowledge, if you're lucky. We are here for you because we have the full tradition, and it's the same tradition. It's just that we're older than you. It's just that our tradition is the origin of your tradition. Our religion, Sanatana Dharma, is the origin of Asatru, is the origin of Greco-Roman religion, is the origin of what the Druids were teaching, etc., etc. We are here to help you, and let me say, please take shelter of the full tradition that we have of Sanatana Dharma, and the fact that our scriptures are so similar to, if not the same as, those scriptures of ancient Europe that are now lost. Explore Sanatana Dharma, and indeed you will find exactly what you're looking for. What are you looking for? You're looking for the religion of your European ancestors. Well, that was Sanatana Dharma. So please explore Sanatana Dharma more, and we are here to help you humbly in any way that we can. So with that, again, we are going to end here, both because we're at over an hour and a half, and I think we've answered most questions thus far. Let me, again, plus people have to get to bed early because we have a full day tomorrow with this conference and the next day, etc. So let me just say thank you again, everyone. Thank you to everyone who is watching right now, and for those who will be watching the recording of this live stream. I ask you all who are watching, especially the people who are here, I have no worries about them. For the ones who are watching, I ask you to please continue to deepen your experience with Sanatana Dharma. That means read our books, read Sanatana Dharma, The Eternal Natural Way, read Introduction to Sanatana Dharma, Principles of Perfect Leadership, the Dharma Manifesto, Living Dharma, the Shakti Principle, and on and on. We have so many books now and more books coming than you can even understand. Read all of our books. Please do the sadhanas, do the meditation. Join our Discord server if and only if you are sincere and you have humility and you want to make your life perfect. If and only if you wish to make your life truly perfect, come to our Discord forum and join us there, because you will learn so much in the company of so many sincere people. And please deepen your understanding and your experience of Sanatana Dharma as much as possible. And with that, again, we will stop here. I thank everyone who is here in person in the temple, and again, I thank all of you watching. Please join us again, not this Sunday. There will not be a live stream this Sunday. We will be in the midst of our conference next Sunday. A week from this Sunday, we will be getting together again for another live stream. And again, namaste, and everyone, nice and loud, so that they can hear you in the heavens. Jaya Shriman Narayana.
Jaya Shriman Narayana.
Jaya Bhagavan Shri Krishna.
Jaya Bhagavan Shri Krishna.
Jaya Shri Guru.
Jaya Shri Guru.
Sanatana Dharma Jayate.
Sanatana Dharma Jayate.
Dharma Rashtra Jayate.
Dharma Rashtra Jayate.
Surya Vangsha Jayate.
Surya Vangsha Jayate.
Victory, victory, victory to Sanatana Dharma, victory to the Dharma nation, victory to the solar dynasty. Evam Bhavatu. May such victory be so. And let me assure everyone watching, such victory will be so. And with that, everyone, from now until the next time that we get together, I ask you all, please, in every way, that you take very good care of yourselves, and that no matter what, you do not fear.